for this warm welcome, and I'd really would like to express my sincere thanks to you for this invitation and for your great hospitality for the whole international delegation. It's really a great pleasure for me to attend and speak to this important event. And I'd also like to thank NNN for the excellent cooperation, long-standing cooperation in the previous year. And I would like particularly thank Jan Eigil, you. You are one of the vice presidents of EFFAT, and I really would like to thank you here in your Congress for your very committed European as well as international work. Thank you very much. As General Secretary of EFFAT, I bring you also the solidarity from the 120 national EFFAT affiliates that are representing more than 2.6 million trade union members in the agriculture, food, beverages, tobacco, and tourism sector. Several of you know EFFAT and its work very well, as they are regularly and actively taking part in its initiatives and policies. And some of you may still wonder, what is EFFAT and what it does? To answer this reasonable question here, let me highlight a few examples of the work EFFAT carries out. We have set up more than 110 European Works Councils. We provide expertise to them, capacity building to its worker representatives, and oversee their functioning so that they can be an important instrument and complement to your trade union work in the companies. We manage European social dialogue in nearly all the EFFAT sectors now. The most recently launched social dialogue is the one in the food and drink sector, which is representing more than 4.5 million workers in Europe. The largest single industrial sector in the European Union, which was inaugurated last year. Norway is part of this social dialogue as well. We have secured EU funding to carry out a joint action in cooperation with the employers in the food and drink industry to enhance the attractiveness of the sector among young people, ensure succession planning, as well as to promote the long-term employability of an increasingly mobile workforce. Also, we have reached a joint statement with the food and drink employers on the reform of the common agriculture policy, which is on the agenda of the European Union for the time being. This statement highlights the importance of decent work, quality working conditions, appropriate worker training, and health and safety in agriculture, as the EU food and drink sector relies very heavily on the EU agriculture sector for its production. We also launched a joint initiative on the issue of food taxes, which is raising in some of the European states. EFFAT also brings your voice to the European High-Level Forum on the better functioning of the food chain, and we regularly advocate for quality work and social conditions along the food supply chain on a European and global level. We are working on the unfair contractual practices between the food and drink sectors and the large retailers that are squeezing and blackmailing food companies. Jan Eigil was already talking about it. EFFAT supports adequate EU regulation, which provides for fair relationship in the whole food chain. We are also bringing forward the discussion on corporate social responsibility in the food and drink industry and shedding light on the first initiatives of social labeling. At a time when environmental labels are now a given and there are increasing discussions about an EU animal welfare label, the discussion on labeling products with the social conditions under which they were produced is still a taboo. And this is totally unacceptable for us. EFFAT's group on the sustainable cacao chain is also determined to make its contribution to the eradication of the worst forms of child labor on cacao plantations and in Turkish hazelnuts fields. To do so, EFFAT has launched a series of rolling awareness-raising actions at chocolate processing plants, including European Works Councils, so that workers can question their employers on child labor along the cacao chain and request more transparency and involvement in the anti-child labor initiatives. But let me come to the key topic of EFFAT's EU agenda. That is precarious work and the fight against social dumping. Due to an ongoing fragmentation and segmentation of the labor markets, as well as due to the EU enlargement, we are witnessing more and more workers doing the same job at the same workplace, but being paid different salaries and being treated with different rights and conditions. Unequal treatment is one of the main reasons for social dumping. Colleagues, we have not yet overcome gender discrimination, yet a new major form of discrimination has appeared based on different employment relationships. And precarious work and unequal treatment is not only unfair, it also leads to stress, health problems, and social exclusion of those who see their basic rights refused, such as access to credit and ability of planning one's life, because they are locked in the substandard working conditions of precarious work. Therefore, EFFAT has carried out a demonstration, a powerful and successful demonstration, jointly with the transport sector and the construction sector on the 23rd of January in Brussels, and we had a very good media coverage. In one of the most recent initiatives, the Belgian government and the Belgian social partner have jointly brought an official complaint to the European Commission on social dumping in the German meat industry, which is still paying low wages of about €5 per hour to migrant workers. This Belgian initiative is an important political step, but also a very new step forward, as Belgian government and social partners are jointly fighting for higher salaries in the meat sector in Germany. But it is, colleagues, not the EFFAT sector that is going to win this battle. It is EFFAT with your strength, with the strength and commitment of our 120 affiliates and 2.6 million trade union members that can. It's crucial that EFFAT knows about your successful initiatives and good practices in Norway so that we can disseminate them, among others. Therefore, EFFAT has set up a precarious work website. Please use it as a forum to share your experiences with other affiliates. They are facing the same challenges. Let me highlight a couple of key essentials for fighting against social dumping. First, if it's the same work, it's the same job, so it must come with the same rights and pay. Secondly, it is where you work that counts, not where you are from, whether you are a man or a woman, whether you are black or white. All workers in Europe must deserve decent minimum wage protection, either through collective agreements, this is our preferred option, or where this is not possible, through legislation. Fourth, all workers must be covered by collective bargaining. It is the most effective way to prevent people suffering in low-wage work. And fifth, employers must be held to account for their subcontracted workers. These may seem difficult principles to uphold at times of crisis and austerity, but they are more than ever valid today. Workers in Europe are paying the price for a crisis that they did not cause and are hit hard by the austerity measures implemented by governments to rescue banks and calm greedy financial markets. Extremely rich members of powerful elites in finance, politics and business have spent the last decade in many countries promoting disastrous deregulation policies, while the wage share of gross domestic products has constantly shrunk over the past 10 years. Now it all has gone wrong, and they want to make working people with their modest income to clean up this mess. Colleagues, let us not lose sight of the truth. Wages are not the enemy of growth. They are the engine. Collective bargaining is not part of the problem. It is part of the solutions. Precarious work does not promote better competitiveness. It promotes new discrimination and new working poor. Cutting ordinary jobs in tough times makes things worse, not better. Greece shows you cannot cut yourself to growth. Business is sitting on more than $200 billion in Europe. We have to get this money working again for investments and sustainable growth and decent employment. We need financial institutions not serving the casinos, but serving real economy and a sustainable future. Colleagues, we do not have an expenditure, but a revenue problem. But for this, we need not less, but more Europe. A Europe which accepts and respects its cultural and national differences, which even promotes its cultural diversity, which teaches us that this kind of diversity makes us not poorer, but richer, which respects that Norway is not a member of the European Union, but an indispensable part of Europe. Europe very much needs an economically and socially strong Norway. Yes, Jan Egil, we are looking to Norway, but we also need a Europe, not only a European Union, a Europe which strongly pushes forward cooperation and democracy, which respects industrial actions as one of the cornerstones of democracy, in which all workers are covered by collective labor agreements, in which fundamental rights have priority over economic freedom, and which provides safe jobs, decent salaries, and better qualification for all, and fights against any kind of discrimination. And we are fighting for a Europe which provides opportunity to young people, which prevents young people from dropping out of school and successfully entering the labor market. More than 25% of young people in Europe are well qualified, but without a job or a continuous training. This, colleagues, is a generation without a future. It's really a lost generation. We were successful in getting a European-wide youth guarantee now. Now we have to really take care that each youngster are guaranteed a training or a job at least 4 months after leaving the school. This is what the Norwegian, what the Nordic and the European social model is really about. Employment rights, salary increases, decent living and working conditions have never fallen from heaven. We have achieved remarkable progress because you have built trade unions like NNN, because you are fighting for fairness, justice and equal treatment jointly every day, and because we have united our forces across the borders in solidarity. Dear colleagues, this is the secret of our success, and this is also our common responsibility for the future. So, let's stand up and together in NNN, in EFFAT and IUF, for a decent world everywhere, visible, secure, and really strong. Long live NNN.